Welcome to the podcast.
The podcast. How many things do you have on your list, Frank?
5, 6, 7, 8. I watched 8 things. How many did you watch?
6.
I watched the new Scream movie, and I gotta be honest. The 7th movie in the Scream franchise. I don't think that idea gets a lot of people excited. It's a good movie. The people behind this did a really good job. I haven't seen any of the other Scream movies, but I had a good job. They poke fun at pop culture and like the whole reboot sequel like thing that studios do, like Star Wars and like the Creed movie. They kind of poke fun at it while doing it, but while doing it, they just kind of like talk about how absurd it is. And they talk about fan expectations in it, which I thought was just really, it's a very on the nose. It's very fun. And it's an entertaining movie. I was laughing a ton. I liked seeing the old cast, even though I never seen the original movie. I could just tell they like, I was like, if I was a fan of the original, if I had seen it, which I kind of do want to see, I haven't. But I was like, this is a good time. If you're into the Scream franchise, I recommend it. I mean, I'm not into the Scream franchise and I enjoyed it, so I guess anyone can.
I have not seen any of the Scream movies, but I know they're very like self-aware and meta, and they're kind of like a franchise in the horror genre that makes fun of the horror genre. And that's really compelling to me. So would you recommend this for someone who has not seen any of the other movies?
I don't know anything about the Scream franchise and I enjoyed this movie, so yeah, go nuts.
Hell yeah. I'll jump in on 7 or whatever.
Jump in on Scream 7 and they're making Scream 8, so get ready.
So many screaming.
So much screaming. Duncan, what did you watch?
Well, at my family house, we have a movie night rotation, and it was my little brother Ian's turn, and he did not have one ready to go, so he just picked the first thing he saw, which was Megamind.
That's a banger movie.
Megamind is a very good movie.
Had you seen it before this?
I had. This was, I think, my 3rd time watching it, but not for a while. Obviously, this movie has a ton of memes about it, so it's like a very present in the cultural zeitgeist of whatever. It's really good. It's self-aware. It's a good kids movie. I think in my like Letterboxd review, I said it suffers from ends with a dance montage disease. So like every
DreamWorks movie ends with a dance montage. That's a meme. I don't know if you know about that.
I mean, I the only DreamWorks, like Shrek,
that ends with the dance montage. The first one.
Is the Emoji Movie DreamWorks?
No, that was Sony Animation.
I can't keep up with all this shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Megamind was good. Not 100% self-aware, I guess, because it does play up the whole kids movie thing, but it came out in like 2013 or something.
Yeah,
so
I think it's a bop. I love that.
Worth a rewatch. Fun for the whole cramily. Who cares? Your turn, Frank.
Family.
All right, Frank, take it away.
I watched a movie in theaters, another movie in theaters.
Wow. It's like you worked there or something.
It stars Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer. So it was I watched Death on the Nile. I didn't have to pay for it, so I didn't support the movie.
There you go.
I thought it was good. I mean, there's some problematic people in it, but I enjoyed it.
Okay, so this is the follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express, correct?
Yes, I like the Murder on the Orient Express.
Okay. And this one was fine?
Yes.
Better than that?
The meme of Gal Gadot where she says, enough champagne to fill
the Nile. Yeah, I've seen it.
A chef and enough champagne to fill the Nile.
And then there was like a meme on TikTok where it was like one dude in the theater started going ape shit when it happened, and everyone was like, "Shut up!"
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, there's a great TikTok of like one dude like losing his mind during the line, and everyone in the theater is just dead silent, but you can feel the awkwardness.
Oh, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Death on the Nile. look, I joke and say all like the stuff with like, I don't even know what happened with Army Hammer. Can you explain that to me? Let's get into that.
So Army Leggy, what a guy. He was accused of being a cannibal, but like a sex cannibal.
Oh,
so like
we haven't all been there.
Like cannibalistic, but like in a fetish way.
How did this come about? How did people discover this?
I believe his ex PR manager came out and like started like talking about it, and people were like, oh well, if she worked for him, then like she probably knows about it. And like a lot of credible stuff. I think he like started acting weird after it came out, where he was like, just I don't know, I don't want to speak out of turn because like I'm not the most well read on it, but
yeah,
apparently, oh god, he's not an actor anymore apparently. Like, hold on, I just saw something like the other day. Army Hammer.
So is there like proof
job.
that he's like what?
Yeah, he's a hotel concierge now. He's selling timeshares in the Cayman Islands. If that isn't the most like guilty second job you take after a thing comes out, like, did I do it? I'm not gonna say, but I'm selling timeshares now.
I know the internet doesn't like Gal Gadot. What did she do? I need to learn.
I believe she served in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, but I believe all Israeli citizens have to do that.
People don't like her because of that. That seems unfair.
No, I think people don't like her because
was it the Imagine video?
I'm sure that didn't help. I think it's because she's still very like anti-Palestinian immigrant.
Okay.
I think she kind of maintained that whole energy even after the IDF. And
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if people
Woman.
listen to this podcast, they know I don't really get into like I just enjoy watching movies.
Right.
I don't get into this stuff. I know there's gonna be an episode coming up where I watched a movie by a problematic person and I didn't realize it till the credits rolled.
Oh boy.
And I enjoyed the movie up until that moment. And I was like, no, I don't know what to do.
It's conflicting for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's like almost a personal preference thing at this point. It's very tricky.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. I mean, I'm not, as the audience could tell if you've listened and from this episode, I'm not very well versed in a lot of the celebrity stuff.
Sure.
I'm well versed in the movie stuff, but anything beyond that, I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm.
What the hell were we talking about? How did
Death on the Nile?
Death on the Nile. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I believe it's on like HBO. I mean, it's as I've described it in the past. It's one of those, it's 2 a.m. and your wife's left you. Put it on to numb the pain.
I love it when you
there is a really,
like
really weird sex. It's not even a sex scene. It's I won't spoil who does it. All I'll say is there's a scene with two characters in a pyramid, and one decides to rub their butt into the other one's crotch and say, "Oh, happy horse."
Oh, happy horse.
And that scene made the final cut.
Yes. And I was the only person in the theater. I was in a packed theater and I was losing it. I was dying laughing.
I can picture you in a theater being the only one laughing.
Yeah. Someone actually said that worked with me in the theater said somebody complained about me.
What are they going to get mad that you enjoyed the movie? Whatever. Oh
yeah, I was watching that scene and I was like, this should have been on the cutting room floor. Like nobody needed to see this.
Happy horse. Wow. All right.
Oh, happy horse. Yeah.
Jesus. Well, I watched Tall Girl 2. If you thought the story ended
critically acclaimed Tall Girl.
If you thought the story ended after Tall Girl won, fuck you. There's another one.
Taller Girl. They should
Tall
have.
Girl
That was a
2.
missed opportunity for a title. Taller Girl.
Taller Girl. You'd think that like a new student would come in and she's even taller, but like no. This movie.
Now wait, refresh my memory.
Yes.
The first one ends with her finally being confident about her height, right?
I think she's not confident, but she accepts it.
Okay.
Tall Girl 2 is about her being popular now.
Okay.
Like before she was tall and people were like, ew, you're tall, you fucking giraffe. Get out of here.
You giraffe.
And now Tall Girl 2, she's
Can you imagine calling someone a giraffe? That's so funny, dude.
It was very traumatizing to her, Frank. So no, I won't laugh.
It's so funny.
So anyway, in the last movie, she does like this big speech at her homecoming, like, I may be tall, but my heart is big too, or whatever. And so apparently it went viral, and she's like famous now for being tall.
Okay.
Everyone at the school loves her. She's like well known online.
Why wouldn't they?
She's dating the short kid who like stood up on the apple crate to kiss her.
Yes, I remember you telling me this.
So they're dating. And man, there's no story.
Yeah.
It's about their relationship. So it's like the guy who was short is like, what the fuck? Why does everyone like her now? Because he used to be the only one that liked her.
Yeah.
And now she's like popular. And there's like a whole mini thing with like the Swedish exchange student who she used to be into. His sister comes and you're like, oh, so this is the taller girl, but she's not. Like she's not as tall. And so so the tall girl and the boyfriend break up, and because they're jealous and they're fighting, and their relationship just isn't good. And so the short guy, Dunkelman, if you forgot his name.
Dunkelman, yeah.
He starts dating the exchange student's sister, even though the exchange student is like his brother. So he's kind of dating his stepsister, if you want to think about it that way. But they do it to get the original girl jealous, but she's focused on her sister, Sabrina Carpenter, moving to LA. The movie's horrible. Does
it set up Tall Girl 3?
God, I hope not. It's horribly edited. It's like clunky.
What is this? What do we call this genre of Netflix movie? I feel like
schemes. They're wandering schemes.
I feel like this segment, whenever you talk about these movies, is like the next My Grandpa Made Me Watch.
Honestly, it's gonna keep happening, so it might as well be.
Oh my god.
They don't make any fucking sense, and they're horrible, and you just waste 2 hours and then they're gone forever. Man, have you ever seen any of these like Netflix rom-com movies?
I have not.
Have you seen like Tall Girl 7?
I kind of wanted to watch He's All That when it came out. I don't know why.
Yeah, He's All That is Man, I'm trying to see what my original review was for Tall Girl 2. Yeah, here it is. 1 star. Mm-hmm. This movie is about her anxiety with a play and her bad boyfriend. This has nothing to do with being tall. So that's my feelings on Tall Girl 2.
So I feel like these movies, the first one is whatever the title's about, and then the second one, they just don't know what to do.
Yes.
It was the same thing with the kissing booth, where there was no kissing
booth.
There's
no kissing booth. It's just the relationships are wacky. Am I right, kids?
Yeah. It's how much do you think if you were to go to Netflix you could buy the Tall Girl IP for? They got to be
don't
making
know.
money if it got a sequel.
If they're meme worthy though, so like they must hold on to it for like the meme value.
That's true.
Why do you want to make a tall girl movie?
I honestly think Tall Girl 3, we could flip the franchise on its head and just make it Oscar worthy.
I'm interested. Let's try and brainstorm what a Tall Girl 3 would be like.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe to purchase the Tall Girl franchise from Netflix.
That could take off.
But
what did you watch, Frank?
Well, you know what? Let's get two of them out of the way. This one might take a while. I watched one of your favorites.
Ooh.
I watched Daredevil.
Daredevil?
Yeah.
The Ben Affleck movie?
Yes. No, the Netflix television series.
All right. So a little bit of context behind this. You, I think all through college, we're talking about how awesome your little CW shows were. And every time you brought it up, I would say like, you haven't even watched Daredevil.
Which I had seen the first season and I never watched past that.
Okay. So you've watched season 2 then.
I started from the beginning. I rewatched season 1 because I didn't remember what happened. I watched season 2. I watched The Defenders, which I'll also talk about in this. And then I watched season 3.
So you mean the whole thing?
I watched that whole thing.
Well, I'm going to shut up. I want to hear your thoughts.
So season 1, I still kind of feel the same way I felt about it the first time, where I wasn't 100% into it. I felt like the side characters just weren't for me. I thought Fisk was the best part.
Mm-hmm.
I have it written down here. I want that man to make me an omelet, because every time he cooks an omelet in the show, it just looks so damn good.
He should open a bakery, honestly. Little diner.
Yes. So here's what I'll say that I did like about the show.
Mm-hmm.
I love Matt Murdock's costume. I had an opinion that I thought was an unpopular opinion, but then in the 3rd season, they went out of their way to bring it back. So I was like, maybe this isn't an unpopular opinion. I think the black like ninja suit is way better than the red one.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was an unpopular opinion. And then in the 3rd season, they add like the ropes to it and it gets even more badass. And
I thought they were going to like meld them. So like he'd keep the red shoulder pads or like a shin guard, but like they were just like, scrap it. We're going all the way back.
So season 1, I really like the Fisk stuff. I like the way the show is like made and shot. I think that is incredible. I'm a sucker for like lens filters, and they took that to the max. Like I love it when he's actually like tuning in on someone listening, and they kind of have like his face and then the rest is blurry.
Like the split focus.
They use split diopters a ton. I was like, I love this. I'm eating it up. So I enjoyed season 1 a little bit more than I had the first time I watched it. I still wasn't sold. Season 2, they brought the Punisher in, and I thought that was just amazing. I thought everything with the Punisher for like the first 4 episodes, I was like, this is going to be an incredible season of television. Then they got into the Hand, and it lost me. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I think if season 2 was just the Punisher, it would be just the Punisher, really better.
They could have cut half the episodes and it would have been so tight.
Exactly.
I did enjoy Elektra, I will say. I thought the actress, I don't know her name, I thought she did just an amazing, like, if they ever bring that character to the MCU, I'd want her to play it.
Absolutely.
Charlie Cox, I'm happy they brought him back, because
what a guy.
Like, huge with the show. He is Daredevil. Like, the guy is Daredevil. I need to sip my water.
Go for it. I think the casting on this show, deserves much higher praise than it's gotten already.
I thought season 2 with the Hand, it felt too much like they were trying to compete with the MCU and the Arrowverse and trying to set up, like, you felt that like they were giving into that pressure.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. And it's like, if you had just like stuck to the standalone story, it would have been great. Season 3 I loved. I loved season 3. I was like, I would, as much as I wasn't a huge fan of the first 2 seasons, I'd go through it all again just to watch season 3. The scene, the prison riot oneer, oh my god.
I still think about that, like unprompted. Like
I wanted to watch this on YouTube but you can't because they'd consider it pirating because it's not even clip. It's like half the episode.
Right.
It's insanely good. It's so good. I couldn't believe what I was watching, and like, I was blown away.
Like they didn't have to do that, but it's
No.
the effort and care that they
Yeah.
obviously have for the show that, like, the amount of work that goes into that is astounding.
And season 3, what I thought was so great, I was like, okay, they're gonna bring Kingpin back. Like, I love Kingpin. Like, I was like, maybe this is a scene where he really like just. I love hearing his backstory in the first season. Again, every time he's on screen, I think he's great.
Right.
It was just the story elements of season 1 just didn't quite work for me, and there was too many side characters. And season 3 does the same thing with a lot of side characters, but it works so much better. You have the agent Hadeen, was that his name?
Agent, I think so. Yeah.
I love that character. I was like, this is just like a random character, but like you really feel for him. And then they bring in Poindexter.
Bullseye. Oh,
nobody talks about him when they
God.
talk about season 3. They always talk about Kingpin, and I get it, but that dude
terrifying.
Was terrifying. Like, oh my gosh. I was so happy with the season. I was like, okay, this is what people had been talking about. I thought season 3, like, just it brought it.
Mhm.
I'm curious your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Disney? They're going to be doing like a 6-part Daredevil Disney Plus continuation.
Obviously, when Netflix canceled Daredevil, I think the uprising that it caused was warranted, because I bet you can agree now, like if it ended after season 3 and Netflix was like, we're done, can you imagine why people were like kind of pissed?
Yeah.
I think it's good that they're not like recasting everybody and they're not like starting over, but they are continuing it. I think it's a sign that they're listening.
I feel like they are going to be like somewhat starting over.
Potentially. Yeah, they might like start a new arc, or they might not reference previous stuff like the Hand or Bullseye. But gotta admit, after seeing what they did with Kingpin and Hawkeye, I'm not super confident. Because like, would you agree that after seeing what they did with Kingpin and Hawkeye, you're like, is he in the right hands right now?
Yeah, here's my thing. I'm like, I get it. They're not going to want to do the ultraviolet. They're not going to want to match the violence. I get that. Yeah, 100%. I'm okay with that as long as the writing's good.
I would agree. As long as the characters
I'm a little bummed
still...
they're not bringing back the original writers, right?
I doubt it. Yeah.
That's I think you could have. I don't know.
I feel like it's a monkey's paw. It's a monkey's paw thing where we're getting Daredevil back, but it's not going to be as good.
I think my issue with a lot of the Disney Plus stuff is that a lot of the projects feel like they were supposed to be movies and then they were turned into shows.
Right. Yeah.
So the pacing just isn't there, and they don't know when to reveal stuff at like the proper time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with this, because it was a show before, and they have a lot to go off of with that show, a lot of history. I have a lot of confidence in it. I think they'll do a good job. Again, I don't think it'll be the same show we remember,
right,
but I think within reason they'll do a good job with it. So
I hope you're right. I think this show has the potential to kind of rock everything else they've done out of the water. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't want to like get my hopes up at the same time.
I hope like they do, like they make some sort of violent content. As weird as that sounds, I had a thing where this past week, I watched the finale of The Boys, mm-hmm. and then right after that I watched Miss Marvel, and like both episodes were good, but like I went from The Boys and then Miss Marvel, someone threw a knife at someone and it just stuck in their bag, and like there was no like, I don't know. I like watched it and I was like, you definitely feel weird watching those two shows back to back.
Right. Because I think The Boys, it uses any excuse to like be bloody and horrifying. Yeah. And then Marvel shows kind of like dodge it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, did you see that they, like a year after it came out, they re-edited an episode of The Winter Soldier and Falcon?
Yeah. And before, like they threw like a pipe and it like went through the guy's shoulder, and now when you watch it, it bounces off.
Right.
and they like
It's
remove
like
blood from a guy who got shot in the head.
I don't understand the angle there. Like, are they just trying to lean into the younger audience that they're getting, or
I guess, but it feels weird to put money to do those effects.
like
So
that's
far.
not cheap. They're like investing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation. I mean, I get it. They want to be seen. Disney's a family brand.
Right.
So I don't know.
It is interesting how like they're not aging up their content with their audience. Like,
Well, I think them adding all the Netflix shows to it and then adding that like disc where you have to like
right, yeah.
have mature content now. I'm hoping that'll I don't know. I was hoping that would lead way to more, but then again, it's like it's been so many months since that happened. It's like you could have added some older movies to Disney Plus that you have access to, and it's like you haven't. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
It is. But
I also watched The Defenders.
Right.
I don't remember anything like plot wise that happened.
Let me fill you in. There's dragon bones under New York City. And if you the dragon bones give you immortality, but it'll also like collapse New York.
None of that rings a bell.
And so your favorite defenders have to go stop them.
I really like the character interactions. I haven't yet, but the show made me want to watch Jessica Jones, so it's on my list to eventually watch. There's so much superhero stuff right now, I can't keep up. I still want to watch Peacemaker, and I haven't.
I hear you. It's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, it's too much at this point. Like, I hate to say it, and I'm a fan of this stuff, but it's just like enough.
You have a limited amount of time. Like, why would you?
Yeah, like
it's the marketplace being oversaturated with like Miss Marvel and Moon Knight and the Punisher and
I feel like I'm watching I just started watching Barry on HBO because I heard that was like a good show, and like I'm enjoying it, and it's like, oh, it's so nice to watch something where like it's it's just so nice.
Anything that's not superhero related feels like a break.
I feel like I have to like schedule out what TV shows I schedule out what shows I'm gonna watch next.
Right.
And I have to like, oh gosh. I literally have to revolve it around superhero stuff and like, well, during this month, this is gonna air. I want to watch these when they come out. So that one's gonna have to take the back seat, and I'll have to find some other time to watch that because it's right. Superhero stuff to watch.
I completely hear you. It's painful to a degree.
Yeah, but it's making the money, so
sure is. Anyway, is that all you had on Defenders?
That's all I had to say on Defenders. I don't really remember much.
Yeah, I remember the character interactions being nice, kind of like a 2011 Avengers kind of a feeling, where it's like, it's these characters separately.
The Avengers came out in 2012. You
whatever.
You're a fake fan.
Cancel
him.
What I remember from that show is I think Daredevil and Jessica Jones are the best standalone in terms of that franchise. Yeah. But I think Iron Fist and Luke Cage worked best in the Defenders. I think the shows individually didn't give them enough to do, but when they work as a part of a team, I think they shine.
Yeah.
I think whatever. Who cares? They got bought out, so we're never going to see him again. Or if we do, it'll be different.
Yeah, I was going to say. What did you watch? How many more do you have left? I have 4 left.
I have 4 left as well.
Well, take it away.
This will be quick. I watched Les Mis. They're French. A lot of them die. They sing. The actors really care. Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway.
People sing.
Huh?
Did you hear the people sing?
All too much. They did that the whole movie, like 2 hours of people singing.
Oh gosh, that is a nonstop singing musical.
It was the first time I'd seen it since theaters, so I got to see it with a more definitive brain development, I guess. And so I could follow the story a little bit better. I
I
understood
haven't
why the
watched that one since I
characters.
was little. Spoiler alert, I remember laughing when Russell Crowe kills himself.
Well, they make it so noisy.
I was gonna say his back like
Like he's falling and the music is swelling and it's like you see it from multiple shots and then he hits the fountain and it's like crack.
yeah,
You're like, oh,
Russell.
like it was really painful.
Yeah.
I watched this with my roommate at the time and we had a game where we drank every time someone died.
Oh boy.
And we were fucking plastered by
I was
the
gonna
end
say,
of
do you
that.
remember the end of the movie?
Barely. Hugh Jackman, his regeneration wears off and he dies, and in heaven they're all on the big barricade. They're like, "Viva la France!" And it's like,
Well, I don't remember the end of this because I thought he lived at the end. So clearly, I need to rewatch it.
don't. Oh no. I don't know
No?
about that. That's it. I just whatever. It's
All
Les
right.
Mis.
You ever have a movie where it's like you don't want to talk about it because you didn't like it, but it's like technically not a bad movie. It just wasn't for you.
Yeah, I've heard. I've
Like-
heard that.
I watched the Guillermo del Toro movie Nightmare Alley, which is like a remake of a
Ooh.
1930 movie, and I just could not get into it. I don't know why. And like,
Nightmare Alley.
oh, it bums me out because it was like it is a
Hmm.
good movie. I don't know why I couldn't get into it. Like it just couldn't capture my attention. And like I don't want to be here and tell people not to watch it because it's like it's clear that there was a lot of like love and hard work put into the movie.
Sure.
It didn't resonate with me, which bums me out. The film visually is gorgeous. It's one of the most gorgeous films you could have seen.
Mhm.
And I feel bad because it tanked.
But again, it wasn't for you.
I know.
So you didn't like it, but you're sad it tanked.
Yeah, because I could tell there was a lot of hard work put into it, and like
Well, yeah, Guillermo
love
always
movies.
puts work into his stuff, right? Like,
yeah, like I don't know. I'm bummed. I'm actually like bummed talking about this.
I mean, real quick, what's it about? Like,
I don't remember.
fair enough. You know
I
what?
don't
I can't
remember.
even fault
I
you.
don't. I watched so much stuff. I watched this one. I started at like midnight. It didn't end till like 2:30.
Jesus.
I don't know.
All right. Well, if to anybody who's listening, watch Nightmare Ally.
Watch Nightmare Alley.
I
and
said
make your own-
Nightmare Ally. Oh my god.
I be an ally.
I
and
love
watch
gay
Night-
people, but I also hate them. I'm the Nightmare Ally. Anyway, watch Nightmare Alley and then tweet at Frank to tell him what it was about. He'd love
Yes.
that.
At Filming Frank on Twitter, please.
Oh man, just
What did you
DM him
watch?
constantly to tell him what it's about.
God.
I watched Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
As per your recommendation, I watched this
It's
movie.
the greatest series on
Or not
Netflix.
movie. I watched it at night with the lights off, and god damn it, that shit didn't go well.
Oh yeah.
So this series is like, ponder if you will, what if Jesus was a vampire? And what if he was in your town right now and just going ham on your neighbors? And not like a Twilight vampire where they're like intellectual. I'm talking gray skin, wings, just like hissing and roaring like a goddamn rattlesnake, just
I mean,
zipping at
Kind of
people.
just spoiled the whole like twist of the show.
I'll put up a
but-
spoiler warning. But yes,
Uh,
the big reveal is that Jesus is Satan and he's
I don't
around.
think that was the point of the show, but
no, okay, that's not the point of the show, but it
the
certainly is
show
the
is
part
kind
that
of
made me
like-
piss my pants in fear.
yeah, it's basically like it's talking about like how people like will try to interpret things and be like, oh, this is just like the Bible, and it's nothing like. To me,
Right.
the show isn't even about religion. It's about how people crazily misinterpret religion.
It's about indoctrination.
Yes. And how people like have this sense of self-righteousness with religion and how they like make it about them.
Right.
And this show is just so freaking well done.
Oh, what's that woman's name? What's the
Beverly Keane.
Beverly Keane. Oh my God, eat a dick, Bev. I hated her so much.
I was at church with my sister a few weeks ago, and there was a woman that looked just like Beverly Keane, and I was thinking it, and my sister like literally turns to me and goes, "Yo, that lady over there is Beverly Keane." I was like, "Yo," I was thinking the same thing. We were freaking out, and then she went up and she was passing out communion, and I was like, "I'm gonna die tonight."
My God,
I think this show is just magnificent. I could go on and on and on about this show.
I'm so glad you convinced me to watch this. This changed my life, to be honest.
So
like,
good.
I can't think of I can't look at a church without being like,
yeah,
what's in that basement? Like, come on.
Yeah.
like
I love this show with
the way it like in the final episodes when it turns into like a horror movie where it's like this band of survivors that come from the different, like from the beginning of the season, like they all come together to try and like get to the boats or like get to this house, or like, I'm trying not to spoil it more than I already have.
I know, I feel like you gave the whole thing away.
I gave away like one big thing, but like whatever.
I only gave away the main plot twist.
Okay, but like, can I spoil it again? Can we talk about the main character?
Let's just go nuts. We'll put something on the screen beforehand. And
the main character is like, this is the best I've ever seen them handle like a character, because like, okay, there are a lot of movies where the main character, spoiler, dies, right? Yeah. And like usually it's in the finale, it's this big sacrificial, like, oh, I sacrifice myself, I'm Jesus, right? Like, but the way this show takes this flawed, haunted character,
dude, the way they play out that scene, you don't know if he's gonna kill her. Like, I part of me was thinking, oh my God, is he gonna end up like, because you think they have no control,
right? You think it's like taking over.
Oh gosh, oh my gosh, Kate Siegel, the actress in that scene. Sorry, I know you're trying to make your point. When she starts screaming at the end, oh, I remember the credits hit, and I was like, I felt sick. I felt physically sick. I was like, this is not good.
That shit curdled my blood. I had to go to work after watching that. It's like, how can I function in any way when that is replaying in my... Okay, so like, just, I have to describe this scene. Whatever, spoilers, watch the show. Like, the main character, he's the fish out of water, right? He returns to this hometown on his island, and he's like, oh, everything's changed. And like, oh, this new priest is like kind of weird. Like, you discover the show and the environment through him.
Yeah.
And then one unfortunate day, he opens up the rec room and a vampire just shoots into his neck like a bullet. And then the priest is like, okay, so you're one of us now. Let's give you the spiel. And that's how they expositionally dump the second half of the show basically onto the main character. And the priest is like, okay, so you're a vampire. You got to avoid the sun. You got an unnatural bloodthirst. You're going to kill like people you love. Just like, pray every once in a while and you'll be fine. And so the main character then takes his love interest on a rowboat, like at the crack of dawn, rows her out to the like the bay, like, so they're surrounded in water. And the whole time you think, this motherfucking vampire is going to eat his like beloved one. It's horrible. It's tragic. And he's just like, okay, I brought you out here because like there's no way you're going to believe me, but like all this is happening, and like heads up. And then the sun rises and he erupts into flame.
Yeah.
And it's like this horrible, tragic reckoning of this person who's haunted. And in his final moments, he can like come to terms with like the victim of the car crash. And I mean, have you ever seen any character work like that?
No. I will say, I think Mike Flanagan, like the way he writes characters, like The Haunting of Hill House, I think people argue whether this Midnight Mass or Haunting of Hill House is his best one. I lean towards Midnight Mass, but Haunting of Hill House, he does the same thing where
I'm gonna start The Hauntings soon.
The Hill House is so good because it follows all these family members, and for the first like 5 episodes, you're enjoying the show, but you don't know where it's going because each episode just follows one character,
right?
And it's giving you an insight to the like family dynamic from their perspective. And then like this 5th episode, they finally all like meet up in present time for the first time after not seeing each other after all these years, and shit hits the fan.
Oh God.
But it's so good.
Mike Flanagan, you have to work with this guy. He's
and
so
Dr.
incredible.
Dr. Sleep is insane if you haven't seen Dr. Sleep.
It's on my list as well. I feel like we do need a Mike Flanagan movie night where we just watch all his stuff.
I love his shows so much, even though I have a Netflix subscription. Sometimes they'll release on Blu-ray and I buy them.
You have to, yeah. Oh, I can't imagine like owning his stuff. Like Mikey, the Flan with a plan. That guy knows what's up.
That's what they call it. They call it the Flaniverse.
The Flaniverse.
I'm sucked in. Like,
well, that's me. Your turn. I've rambled.
I could talk about Midnight Mass and Mike Flanagan for hours on end, unprepared. So don't.
I'll get ready.
All right, since we talked about the greatness of Midnight Mass, I think it's only fitting I talk about a movie that I thought was just meh. Like, it was
all
good.
right. Yeah,
fine. I watched the prequel to the Kingsman movies, The King's Man.
And
can I spoil this movie?
Yeah, why not?
So the marketing is really big on Rasputin being the villain. He dies in like the first half hour.
Oh, a fake out.
Yeah. And this is another one of those movies where I can't really remember what happened.
We gotta get better at doing these, man. We've forgotten all.
It takes place during World War I, and the most memorable scene is at the very end, and it's an end credit scene that sets up World War II by introducing the character of Adolf Hitler.
They have an MCU style post credits teaser for Hitler,
and Hitler looks into the camera and says, "Oh, happy horse." No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, damn it.
No, but that's the most memorable part of this movie. I was cackling when that happened.
Does it have any relation to the Kingsman movies?
No.
It's a setup of the institution, right?
It's supposed to set up a sequel to like the prequel series. I don't think it's happening. See, I watched that and I was like, no, are they genuinely trying to make, because I feel they play the scene like they know it's absurd.
Right. And so Kingsman is good at that.
But I feel like the way Hollywood works, it was like, now is this just them poking fun at like the whole like post-credit scene culture? Or are they genuinely gonna make a sequel?
Have they become what they were making fun of?
Yeah. And I don't know. I enjoyed the movie. Like, I didn't think it was bad by any means.
Sure,
like, it's an enjoyable movie. I just like, it's not memorable to me.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was delayed a ton and like reshot and re-edited a ton, and you definitely feel
Was it COVID era?
It was supposed to come out before COVID, and it came out like this past December.
Gotcha. So one of those.
A fun movie theater story. I was working, and I got to take a sip of water. It's the big one.
All right. I can't wait. I love the movie theater stories. Like, guys, Frank somehow attracts the most crazy stories, and they're always a blast.
This was the funniest day we ever worked.
Okay, hit me.
So this was like in the middle of December. COVID had like resurged. So people were pretty scared. And like everyone who's going to the movies was like, everyone would come up and be like, is there a lot of tickets sold? Is there a lot of tickets sold?
Like all defensive, yeah.
We had the Kingsman in Theater 2, which is our smallest theater. I think it's only like 36 seats. We sold, I remember exactly, Duncan. We sold 18 tickets to this movie.
Oh boy.
I kid you not. There was an elderly couple in the theater. They sat smack dab right in the middle of this tiny theater. And they were coughing loudly.
Oh.
We had, within the first 20 minutes of this movie, we had 5 people come out and just complain about them coughing, like being so loud they couldn't hear the movie. Duncan, this is the craziest shit. 18 tickets we had sold to this movie.
Yeah.
All 16 people came out within the first hour and we had to give them a refund. because we couldn't kick the couple out because they technically weren't doing anything wrong.
And like you can't make them prove like anything.
There
like,
was one family that said we're gonna stay, but we're just nervous. So they sit at the opposite end of the theater, and we just ended up giving them passes to come see another movie because we felt bad. 16
I can't imagine.
people. We were laughing every time they'd come up. We were like, "Oh no, they're what?" Like it became like funny to us.
At least you could spin it.
Because even the people knew, like you can't yell at them because they're not doing anything wrong.
Okay, I'm glad they weren't like yelling at you about it. But
yeah,
like,
no, everyone was cool about it, but they were just like,
just like this
Can
old.
you do anything about it? We're like, I mean, like they're technically not doing anything. Like we can't yell at them for coughing.
It's just one of those horrible situations where like the circumstances.
But we were laughing our asses off because we were all up front, like, yo, there's this old couple like. Why is everybody leaving in the middle of the movie?
Wow, this must be scaring all the young people. The World War I movies, the snowflakes can't handle it.
Oh my gosh.
That's so goddamn funny.
It is. Alrighty, Duncan. What did you watch in February?
Do you remember me telling you about After? The Harry Styles fan fiction that got turned into a...
Is that the one with the guy and his name is Hard Man?
Yep.
Hard.
I watched After We Fell, which I believe is the third one, but I do have to double check. After We Fell. Please be the third one. Wow, what is this? Is this the third one? Oh, okay, yeah, it is. So the first movie is about the Harry Styles knockoff tricking her into a relationship to like be funny with his friends. And the second one, it's about her coworker who's nicer, but she declines him. It's about work. The third one is about parents. So Hardin's deadbeat dad moves in with them. And her mom, fuck it, I can't do this. It's just
character Hardin is such a sin. It's such a sin.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about this movie. Honestly, I don't remember it, and it was probably really awful. But what I want to like really briefly just touch on is just the fact that, like you said, the first of these movies is very much like what it's about. It's the selling point. It's the romance.
Yeah.
And then when they get a second, third, God forbid a fourth, they don't know what to do. They're like, okay, what tests romance? Like,
is this a Netflix movie? Is this like?
Oh yes, this is a Netflix movie. It's like what tests a romance, right? It's like work, parents, if you're young, like college, and so they like each movie they throw one of these standard problems at it, and it's like they either work through it or they don't. And like at the very least, you'd hope that the young people watching these movies would like get something out of it. Like, oh, if I have a boyfriend and he's busy with work, like I don't need to be mad at him. I just need to like bring it up. Like, hey, I'd like you to like focus more of your free time on us. Mm-hmm. Like, but these movies don't have a good message. Like, it's all okay. These movies also get like more R-rated as they go on. Like in the first movie, they were
I thought
like,
this was a PG-13 franchise. It's R.
Not anymore. Like the first movie, they were like, oh, I hope he likes me. And they have a little kissy. But like they just fuck in this one. Like, like they're just like, they're in a fight. And then they're like, I like it when you get mad. And then they're on the couch just fucking going at it.
Those movies are...
Oh Christ. Anyway, this movie sucks. What did you watch, Frank?
This podcast episode has gone off the rails.
I love it. That's the best kind.
I do too. I watched the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Free Guy!
Have you watched Free Guy?
No, Ian has been threatening to pick it for his movie night for like a month now.
Okay.
I know about it. You can spoil it.
I enjoyed it. I will say it's an enjoyable movie. It's good. They do like toss in like the franchise stuff, which just feels like it's too much.
Well, you were a fan of like Ready Player One, right? And
I was, but that one felt, I don't know, there was something about that film that felt so genuine. And to be fair, this movie does feel very genuine to itself. It's when they do that. It's not really till the end they pull in all the franchise stuff. It's at that
I've
point.
seen like the Captain America shield and the Hulk hands and
Yeah, that's not till the end, but like it comes so out of nowhere because the whole movie isn't like that.
right. And it's about video games, right?
Yeah.
So why would they do movie shit?
Because kids will recognize it.
Kids. Yeah, I hear you.
Our market. I enjoy it though. You know, it was an enjoyable film. I was laughing. My parents did not understand this movie. I don't think they liked it.
They might not be the video game market.
Yeah. I think my sister ended up watching it later and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed that movie." So I mean it's an enjoyable movie for the younger generation.
The general audiences.
General audience. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, do you think it would be a good pick if Ian did choose it for his movie?
I think your family would enjoy it. Yeah. No, it's definitely an enjoyable movie.
That's promising.
And this was technically released. It's a Fox movie, but it was released under the Disney banner because they bought them out.
Well, everything is these days.
I know, but
we all live under the Disney banner.
They are turning into a franchise, so it's going to get milked to death. So
what?
Yeah, they're making a sequel, and it's so.
God damn it! Cool. I love corporations.
Look, it's an enjoyable movie if they do a good job. Look, I don't like bashing movies. I
do.
People work hard
on Free Guy. Sorry. Yeah.
No, they did. There's a lot of.
They always do. Yeah.
This one I liked. It's not like my favorite of the month. I forgot to do that.
No worries.
But I really enjoyed this show. It's a show on Apple TV. It's a limited series. It's called Defending Jacob.
Oh yeah, I've never heard of this.
It's really good. It's about this it's Chris Evans. It stars Chris Evans, and his son is accused of murdering one of the students at a school in the small town.
How dare he?
The whole thing goes kind of off the rails. And
go off the rails past a murder accusation.
Well, no, it's just kind of like the whole like town kind of they all love this guy and then his family, and then once this accusation comes out, it's like they all like hate him. And
so it's about cancel culture. And the woke mob, the woke media,
the woke leftists,
the left-leaning woke Joe Bibbins,
media, the lamestream media,
Kamala Harris and Joe Bibbin, and they're taking away our freedom.
It's about lions in a world full of sheep.
God damn it, it's funny. Is the show good? Do you recommend it?
Yeah, no, it's really good. The last episode, it kind of reminded me of a Disney Plus show where like the pacing's good, and the last episode they try to like throw too much at it. But
yeah, the whole show is set up, and then in the final episode, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight.
Do not bash Kenobi. I enjoyed the hell out of that show. Okay,
we should talk about Kenobi later, but yes,
we should. This show has the most banger opening credit scene.
Really?
Ones I've seen, and like, yeah, all the Apple TV shows like just are like, what if we?
I've heard they put like crack in there.
I think I said this before, but I feel like they pitched this whole streaming service on all our shows are going to have the most banger opening title sequences, and this one is probably my favorite out of all of them.
Cool. Yeah.
I highly recommend it. Really good, strong performances. Just a good time.
Fuck yeah. I love that. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. You know what? Fuck yeah. Go fucking off. I fucking love that. Apple fucking TV. My last film was Good Boy.
Okay.
This felt like a student film, but in the best way possible. Like this felt like it's like if you went to a student film festival and like this would be the one you remember for the rest of your life.
Okay.
It's about Judy Greer, first of all. Phenomenal actress.
She's playing like a crappy mom in this movie?
No. They actually let her be the lead role for once.
Breaking out.
This is a movie about a woman who is feeling kind of like stuck in her life. Like she doesn't feel like she's getting anywhere with dating. She wants to be a mom, but she isn't.
Me too.
We'll unpack that later. So she adopts a dog. She like goes to a shelter and she's looking for the right dog. And the guy leading her is like, this dog, like, it used to be owned by like a felon who went to jail, so the dog is like doesn't have a family, and she's like, I'll take it. And so she takes on this dog, and it's this really sweet little like fucking tiny dog. And then I will spoil it lightly. The dog starts fucking murdering people.
What is this on? Where do I watch this?
I loved it. Again, student film, but like really good. It looks like there was a promotional thing called Into the Dark, where like
Yes, I've heard about this. Yeah.
This is one of those.
Okay.
And it takes the premise of like an emotional security animal or like a guard dog to the max. So like anyone who slightly like offends Judy Greer or like shades her or does anything, the dog like
just murders.
Right.
And
you don't see it until the end, but at the last time the dog, I won't spoil it because I want you to see this. The last time, it's all shown like off camera. Like she'll come home and like the window screen is busted, and she's like, "Where did my dog run off to?" And then she like turns on the news, and it turns out the woman who like she fought with has been like grisly murdered. But it's not until the last one that you see that the dog actually transforms. Like you think it's this cute little dog, but in the last one, it starts like hulking out, and its muscles start like ripping through its fur. And like it almost gets into like this like animatronic kind of like gross dog thing.
I need to see this.
I loved it. I picked this as a movie pick, and like it traumatized my family, but like I don't care. And Judy Greer fucking bodies this. She's one of my favorite actresses. They really need to give her more to do.
I feel like Hollywood has not given her like enough attention.
I will be a Judy Greer apologist until the day I die. She's fantastic.
Loved her in the Halloween reboot.
Yeah, I heard she like does a really good job in those.
Yeah.
I loved her in the one I saw. Man. Anyway, Good Boy is so it's like funny. It's funny.
I was gonna say that sounds like it'd be up my alley. I gotta watch that.
But that's it for me. That's my February.
Duncan, that's February. The month of Valentine's, the month of love. It has come to an end.
It was my birthday in February. I turned 29. Thank you so much for watching.
When you listen to this podcast, I can see the glow in your eye.
Don't imply that we can see the people watching. They're gonna hate that.
Can we get access to your cameras on your phone when you listen to the podcast?
Oh my god, can you imagine just watching someone listen to our podcast for an hour?
Probably like on the toilet.
Anyway, don't forget to wipe. Bye, guys. That was horrible. Bye. Love you.
That's my favorite ending.
Oh my god. All right, I'm ending it.